Within hours, 300 fishermen were on the river, dragging the water for the body.
Here, we found something.
Slowly. Slowly.
It was my eldest son, Juan. The body was covered in slime and weed, the features barely recognizable, but it was Juan. The rich brocade and silk clung to his body. He had been stabbed 8 times. His hands were tied behind his back, and a huge stone had been tied to his neck. They bore his body to the Vatican.
Your Holiness, we have found your son.
Where is he?
Holy Father, he's here.
Alexander ran from the audience chamber and shut himself up in his private rooms. No one could see him for days. No one knew who had done it. This was no simple killing of the kind that happened daily. This was a mystery. Alexander blamed himself and summoned all his cardinals and the ambassadors of the world to renounce his sin. Sin? If loving the family, good wine, and a little pleasure is a sin, then we are all guilty. Perhaps his only sin was that he loved Juan too much.
Juan Borgia is dead. His death is a cause for the greatest sorrow. And no greater sorrow than this could we endure, because we loved him above all things, more than the papacy, more than any temporal thing. God has done this, perhaps for some sin of ours, and not because he deserved such a cruel death. We do not know who murdered him. May God forgive the guilty. From henceforth, we will see our own reformation and that of the Church. We will turn our back on all nepotism. We will begin with the Vatican, and so move through the entire hierarchy of the Church until all is cleansed.
I had never seen my husband humble himself in this way, publicly and before the whole world. He just stared blindly ahead, speaking as if there was no one in the room but God himself. Is it so wrong to love your family and want them to prosper? Some said so. The Florentine priest, Savonarola, ranted and screamed hatred of the papacy even in our grief.
O degenerate Church, I gave you fine raiment, and you have made it the covering for idolatry. In lechery, you have become a shameless slut. You are beasts. No, you are worse than beasts. You are an abomination. Time was when you felt guilt and shame for your manifold sins and wickedness. But now you build a mansion of infamy. You have made the Holy See into a brothel.
Even in his grief, my husband had to hear of such slanders. But we were strong. Words could not destroy our integrity. Whatever my husband's faults, he strove to do good for the family. I was never made part of his counsels, but through my children I knew of his great designs.
My children, I have brought you here to talk of the future. My grief for our beloved son Juan must now be laid to rest, and our thoughts must turn once again to the matters of state and to your future. Despite the voices that are raised against us, we will not turn aside from our duty, our family duty. I will not abandon my children. Why? God himself has shown us that the family is the most important and sacred part of human life. I will not ignore that duty. And so I wish to ensure that both you, Lucrezia, and you, Cesare, are well established. Oh, there will come a time when I will no longer be with you, and so we must arrange some security for you both. Lucrezia, I have determined to give you the Duchy of the Latium.
But, Father, Latium is already possessed by the Orsini.
They hold their land through us. They're no more than tenants, and they've not paid their dues, so their land is forfeit. Now, for you, Cesare, we must secure the Romagna. I am prepared to spend whatever it takes to conquer the entire region.
Father, I am your servant and will perform whatever is required. I hope to fulfill the promise of our brother, whose perfections called him to God.
His perfections will not be matched in this world, Cesare. Oh, by the way, before I forget, could you ask that friend of yours, Machiavelli, to keep an eye on that mad priest in Florence? What's his name?
Savonarola.
Yes, ask him to record what he says. I fear that we may have to do something about him before too long. Cesare, can you draw up a list of Vatican posts that are vacant? We must put them all on the market for the highest bidder. Yes, with any luck, we'll raise just enough to pay for Lucrezia's dowry. Once we find a suitable match.
Why are you so against free enterprise?
Let the marketplace keep its place. Our Lord turned the money changers out of the temple. The Pope has brought them back in and is himself rolling in the mire with them. He sells everything. Benefices, the sacraments, nuptial masses, forgiveness. And then, with the money that he has taken, he goes to sport with prostitutes. This poison is so virulent in Rome that the whole world is revolted by it. Now we must counsel all men to keep clear of Rome and say, do you want to corrupt your son? Then make a priest of him.
What about the daughter, Lucrezia? We heard she sleeps with her brother and even with the Pope himself.
My brothers and sisters, all of this is true. The time is coming when we will open the sewers, and then the stinking filth and fetid matter that lies within the walls of Rome will issue forth and spread throughout the length and breadth of Christendom. The time is coming for all true men of God to turn their backs on this tide of excrement and cry out to heaven to bring him down. This Alexander is no pope. He's not even a Christian.
Bring Savonarola to Rome. Try him and burn him.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of the death, yet will I fear evil. I will fear no. I cannot be destroyed. My words will outlast this. Rome will burn in the fires of hell. I will not die.
Ah, Cesare, come in. My son. You must now carry all the Borgia hopes, Cesare.
I will endeavor to be worthy, Father.
You are worthy. Now, listen very carefully. The Romagna is yours for the taking. Allow nothing to stand in your way. I have prepared everything. Money, men, guns.
Now Cesare's star was in the ascendant. He would fulfill his destiny. I prayed for him day and night. He would restore Italy to the church. He alone. The night before his departure, he went to Lucrezia. I think he loved her more than all the world.
Lucrezia, I've come to say farewell. Tomorrow I leave for the Romagna.
To conquer and return a hero. A real Caesar.
Caesar or nothing. And I shall do it for you, my sweet sister.
Oh, Cesare, not for me. For Rome. For the papacy and for the family.
No, Lucrezia. Everything I do is for you.
You shouldn't say such things. Father wouldn't approve.
Oh, Lucrezia. The world outside these walls is cruel and cold. The Pope has built strong walls to protect his own. And we must, above all else, be true to each other. I love you.
Don't look at me like that, Cesare. It is not right.
What I do is right. We cannot be wrong. We are bound by a common tie of blood. There can be no treachery. You beyond all other women I can trust. And I can love.
Cesare!
Ah, there you are, Cesare. I had hoped you would call on your mother as well as your sister.
I must prepare for the morning. Good night, Lucrezia. Mother?
Lucrezia, what's wrong? Have you quarreled with Cesare the night before he goes to war?
It was nothing.
Something is wrong. Now tell me.
No, Mother. Nothing is wrong. He just seems to want something from me. Something I cannot give.
What do you mean?
He says he loves me.
Oh, my dear child, of course. And what's wrong with that?
Above all things.
He is simply showing his duty to you. You should be grateful. You must not forget. He is heir to the papacy, and tomorrow your brother goes to war for the church. You will pray for him. Lucrezia was a young girl and overwrought. I left her in prayer. The next day, everyone was up at dawn to see Cesare off. He set out from Rome to fight his first battles. The streets were full of cheering crowds, drums, trumpets, and red and gold flags. He bowed his head to the Pope as he turned his white horse and led his army out to the Piazza San Pietro. It was magnificent. Lucrezia was beside herself with excitement.
Oh, Mother, look! Look! They are all shouting for Cesare.
He is like Hercules.
May God protect him.
He will not need it. He is a god. He will crush Caterina Sforza under his heel, and then...
Beware pride, Mother. The mistress of Imola is a lioness. Some say she is a man disguised in a woman's body, and yet a great beauty. A rose with thorns dipped in poison. There is no record of the number she has killed.
My lady, I have a message from Cesare Borgia.
Indeed. Is the young man to visit us for the sake of his education?
His army is no more than 4 days' march from your castle at Forlì.
I see. Well, give me the letter. Now, most honored and bounteous Madonna, His Holiness sends me as emissary to require of you your allegiance. You must entrust both land and titles to the protection of His Holiness, Pope Alexander VI, who comes in the person of Cesare Borgia, the Duke of Valentine, and etc., etc., etc. So, the fat, heretical Pope is sending his son, Cesare, scarcely out of his cradle, to take us to Rome. And what does he call himself now? Duke Valentine. Cupid could not choose a better name. Well, we shall see. I do not think we have overmuch to concern us. This effete young man has never seen a battle, never smelt blood smouldering in the fragments of the pretty flags adorning his bright army.
Madam, he may be young, but he is also reputed to be ruthless and without pity.
I can match any man in those qualities.
But, madam, his army is also large.
Oh, hold your tongue. Why am I surrounded by eunuchs? Perhaps Cesare will rid me of some of the whining pantaloons that make up half my court.
Madam...
Now, listen to me. We must delay Cesare's army for as long as possible. That will give us time to assemble our forces and call upon the loyalty of the Epicurean barons who have paid us lip service for so long. We must think, what is the one thing that would force Cesare Borgia back to Rome?
Well, my lady, they are reputed to be a very close-knit family. Might I suggest that if the Pope were to fall ill or have an accident, Cesare would instantly return to tend both his father and his interests in Rome.
Oh, you have your uses after all.
Madam, might I also suggest that we send the Pope a letter or a present? And this present or letter could be wrapped in the rags and winding sheet of a plague victim.
Yes, yes, of course.
I hear that Cesare is making excellent progress. He should soon engage Caterina Sforza and bring the lady to heel. I could almost wish myself with him, but, oh, the gout, you know, put a stop to all that.
Your Holiness?
Yes, what is it?
Your Holiness, an emissary from Imola. He brings a letter from Caterina Sforza.
Oh, she only has to hear the name of Cesare Borgia and she sues for peace. Let the emissary approach.
Your Holiness, I come from the Lady Caterina Sforza, mistress of Imola and Forli. She sends humble greetings and her profound hopes that your Holiness might look with favor upon this gift, a small token of esteem and loyalty.
Of course. We know how to be magnanimous. You may approach. Oh, I dare say this is some embroidery. I've heard that despite the warlike demeanor of the lady, she is as skillful with a needle as with the sword. What is here? Filthy rags? This is some devil. I know what this is. I've seen such things before. Wrapped round the rotting corpses of men and women thrown into plague pits. Is that what you had in mind for me?
I swear, Your Holiness, I had no idea of the contents of the box. I am only the messenger.
Yes, only the instrument of Caterina's venom. Well, since I cannot speak to her in person, you will have to act as the instrument of my reply. Your remains will be sent back to Caterina within the hour.
Your Holiness,
God, in his infinite mercy, had foiled Caterina's plot. Alexander remained as healthy as ever. Cesare did pay a brief visit, but within days he was back at the head of his army, leading the assault on the castle of Imola.
Hold your fire! Hold! Can you hear me, Caterina?
I'm not deaf, Cesare, despite your guns.
Then you will know that your resistance is futile. It is only a matter of time before your walls crumble.
You will need more than words to break us, Cesare.
I have something more than words, lady. I have your children. I caught these fledglings as they flew the nest on the road to Siena. Do they interest you?
What will you do with them?
Unless you open your gates and give yourself in the protection of His Holiness Pope Alexander VI, I shall have them put to death in full view of your gates.
Do your will, Cesare. I have a mold to make more.
So, Caterina, it is true. You have no heart. The next time we speak together, you will be in chains. Destroy the castle!
Every cannon, every musket poured fire on Imola. The walls shuddered and fell in clouds of dust and blood. At once the breach was filled with corpses, and Caterina was everywhere, urging her troops into that smoking hole, gaping like hellmouth. Fires sprang in every corner as men locked together in a forest of steel and bone.
Forward for Cesare and the Pope!
Wait! Fight, you dogs!
you. They say your blood is pure ice. Go wonder if Cesare would notice a few more cuts. Let's see if she bleeds.
Yeah.
Take off her helmet, right? Oh, quite a beauty. Here, give us a kiss before we damage the goods. Oh, now that's not very friendly. Come on, lads. You take her arm and leave the rest to me. Right.
I think this prize is mine.
Oh, my lord,
You were discourteous. That is not permissible. You will be thrown from the tower, taken away.
Oh, my lord! My lord!
Madonna Caterina, you must be very tired. Come, you must rest and bathe. And then we will talk. Come. Now the smoke of battle has cleared, we may see how best to resolve our differences. Another glass of wine, Madonna?
Why did you spare my children?
You did not care whether they lived or died. They had no power to move you. They will now live under my protection.
What will you do with me?
Oh, Madonna, you have nothing to fear. You will find me gracious in victory.
I see. Perhaps what they say of you is true. You are a conqueror. You will take all Italy as you have taken me.
And what they say of you, Madonna, is also true. You have the heart of a lioness in the body of an Amazon. I did not know the first warrior of Italy was also the fairest.
Oh, Cesare, are you now declaring war upon my vanity?
I speak nothing but the truth.
You will be a Caesar.
And you, Cleopatra.
Cesare, we are made of the same stuff, born to grow upon the same vine, made for power and mastery over the common drones that till the earth. It is our destiny. Think what we could accomplish together. We could rule the whole of Italy.
Together?
We would allow nothing to stand in our way.
Nothing and no one. But I fear, Caterina, I do not need a consort. Especially one whose skill in poisoning is legendary. I do not think I would last long, just as the male spider is devoured by his mate.
Oh, Cesare, you are unjust. I would prove my loyalty.
Loyalty? Oh, Caterina, you were right. We are too similar. You are an incomparable liar.
With you, of all people, I can speak plainly.
Do you take me for a fool? Do you think I don't know what you are? You would try to win a victory in sweated sheets that you could not win in war.
Oh, Cesare.
Such a monster. Such a siren has never lived. To sacrifice your own blood. To throw away their lives for a plot of filth.
And are you so much better? You are known throughout Italy as a murderer and an incestuous lecher.
This land is forfeit because you are corrupt. You have sacrificed your own people, just as you destroyed your children.
What right have you to speak to me? Your family infests the papacy, eating away at the foundations of the church until everything is riddled with corruption and decay. Soon it will fall, and you will be buried in its ruin.
I fear, Madonna, you will not see it.
I would not live a captive, Cesare.
Oh, you will live, but you will live in chains and in utter darkness. You and all your kind have brought Italy into chaos. Your cruelty is without end. Your house a parasite upon the land. I have been sent by God to burn out such rooted corruption once and for all time.
How can you, the cruelest of men, talk to me? How?
Madonna, your time is past. The world is changing. Soon there will be room only for God's universal church. I am God's instrument, and no woman will stand in my way. I will rid Italy of tyrants, and you are the first.
My son was pure as God's own light, and he was a conqueror. He returned to Rome in triumph. He was a Caesar, and like the first Caesar, he led his captive back to Rome in golden chains. Everyone poured out to cheer. I was so proud. He was without doubt the most handsome and the most glorious prince in Europe. The Pope greeted him on the steps of San Pietro.
My dearest and most well-beloved servant, the Church welcomes back the scourge of tyranny. God has blessed your just sword with victory. Cesare. Come, my son. Your sister and your mother await us. We all want to hear about it. Oh, and I'd like to have a good look at that virago. Oh, I hope she doesn't bite. Oh, I also have some news for you. Your sister is to be married.
Really? Why was I not consulted?
Well, Cesare, I'm sure you'll approve. Third time lucky for Lucrezia, eh? It's an extremely good match. The Este family from Ferrara. Very old, very venerable. I think they suppose themselves too grand to marry the likes of us. Oh, now come, don't frown on a day like this. Lucrezia's lost her frowns, and she's forgotten all about poor Alfonso. Now, your mother wants to be the first to welcome you back to Rome. Ah, Venozza, look who's here.
Cesare. Oh, Cesare.
Where is Lucrezia?
She's overcome with excitement. She's resting. Oh, Cesare, come and embrace me.
Mother?
I will find the girl. Oh, she can't handle all the excitement. First the marriage, and now your return. Oh, God's own hand is in all this good fortune.
Fortune smiled on Cesare. She was his handmaiden, and led him to victory after victory. He swept away every faction. Francesco Gonzaga, da Montefeltro, the Vitelli, the Orsini, all fell before his sword.
All of us, one after the other, will be led to the gallows.
One by one, devoured by the dragon.
He must be opposed.
We will be led to the gallows.
Devoured by the dragon.
We must resist.
They are a pestilence, the troublesome plague of locusts that have ruined Italy. They must be crushed.
Mother?
Yes, my child?
Is everything prepared for my departure for Ferrara?
Everything. Everything except the tears your father will shed. He will miss his brightest daughter. Certainly more than he would miss me if I were to be swept away.
Cesare will not see me. He will not say goodbye.
He is like your father. They both hold you very dear to their hearts.
But, Mother, there is a change in him. He spends his day in the night. He is not to be seen in the sunlight, and even in the night he wears a mask.
It is an affectation, nothing more.
No. I have heard that his face is now covered in sores. What is wrong with him?
Where did you hear this?
I have heard it whispered in every corner.
It is a lie. Cesare is the most handsome prince in Christendom. I am surprised you of all people could believe such a lie.
I am to leave Rome tomorrow. I may not return for many years, if God spares me. I want to know something. I want you to tell me the truth.
The truth? What truth?
Mother, I beg you not to lie to me. If you know what really happened, tell me who killed my husband, Alfonso.
You know who killed him. Why drag it all up again?
Who killed my husband?
It was the Orsini. The Orsini, they killed him. And Cesare has now taken our revenge. There, that is the truth.
I do not believe that. I have heard other things whispered in galleries and at street corners. People say it was Cesare.
Oh, that is a lie. How can you say such a thing of your own brother on the eve of your wedding day? How can you say? Lucrezia left, and all Rome turned out to wish her well. The cannons on the Castel Sant'Angelo boomed out over the Tiber. The street rang to cries of, "Long live the Duchess! Long live the Duchess!" No one noticed me, the mother of the Duchess and the conqueror of all Italy. But what a spectacle you cannot imagine. Lucrezia wore a cloak of crimson silk trimmed with ermine over a dress of cloth of gold. 4,000 men-at-arms rode beside her, and music played to delight her every step of the way. Alexander could hardly contain his joy and his sorrow. He was losing the one thing he still loved. He rushed past me and up the stairs to the highest windows in the Vatican. Tears streamed down his face as he ran from one window to another, straining his eyes to catch the last glimpse of Lucrezia as she grew smaller and smaller until she could no longer be seen. They were not to meet again. August. The heat was unbearable. I kept telling Alexander we should leave Rome, but he insisted on staying.
Vanozza, my place is here. There is a great deal of work to be done.
Oh, Alexander, why must you always disregard what I say, even before I reach the end of my sentence?
Oh, Vanozza, that is not true. You know I value your opinion and rely on your good sense, but you simply don't know what needs to be done, and I will not fill your head with my cares. Now, no more questions. Let this suffice. The victories, the achievements of the family are as nothing to that which will soon be seen. Cesare.
I have been waiting for you.
I fear I have been delayed by your mother, but it was time well spent.
Do you have the documents?
Yes, Cesare. I have them here.
Good.
Within 2 days, both Alexander and Cesare fell ill. On August the 18th, the Pope was dead. Cesare was too ill to attend to the funeral arrangements, and so I took a hand in Alexander's passing. He was as serene in death as he had been in life. The papal carpenters worked unstintingly to prepare the coffin. His death was kept a close secret for a week.
Oh, let's get this job done as quickly as we can. Ooh, you can smell him from here.
Don't show such disrespect.
I'm as respectful as the next man, but I don't like working with corpses.
Why's all this being done in secret? I thought when the Pope died, all Rome's supposed to wear black. I've not heard a single bell toll.
That's none of our business. Now, if you got any sense, you'll do your carpenting and keep your mouth shut. Now, you go and get the body ready, and I'll get the rest of the tools.
Can't we get the tools together?
Just do as you were told. My God. Oh, if I'd known what a whining waste of time you turn out to be.
All right. It's horrible. Horrible.
Oh, for crying out loud, what's the matter with you?
His face, it's like a mulberry. The nose is all swollen and black, and the eyes are open. And a stench.
Oh, you're right. Ugh. Here, wrap this cloth round your face. Not another word. We got a job to do, and the sooner we do it, the sooner we'll get out of here. Ooh, we'll take the coffin over to him. Here, you take the top end. Right, lift. Now, let's lift him in. Nice and gentle now. We don't want to wake him up. Oh, don't say that. Oh, there we are. Oh, no. Measured him up.
Well, I got the measurements.
Did you measure him up?
Well, I just asked the chamberlain how tall he was.
Dear. Well, look. Just look at that. He's too tall for the coffin.
Oh.
Yes. Oh. Right. Well, we haven't got time to hang around, have we? Oh, we'll get the old boy back into his box if it's the last thing we do. Don't just stand there. Give us an hand.
Alexander was dead. It was the passing of a golden age. But we still had Cesare. He was all our hopes. We were safe for the moment. Cardinal Piccolomini had been elected Pope, and he was of our party. Cesare was in no fit state to fight our cause. For days he shivered in fever and delirium.
Trust no one. No one. You're all are traitors. Alfonso. I stood guard. I stood guard. Only me. No one is to be trusted.
Cesare, oh my sweet Cesare.
What? Who killed the Pope? He must be found. We're surrounded by enemies.
Cesare, you have been dreaming. We are safe.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. I'm not myself. Shh. But I do know myself. Mother, listen to me. Piccolomini is old and may die soon. You must make preparations to fly from Rome at a moment's notice. Do you understand?
Of course, Cesare, of course. Now you must rest and save your strength.
If Piccolomini dies, the papacy may go to Cardinal Rovere. If that happens, we're finished in Rome. You must make preparations to leave.
Yes. Now go back to sleep. Will they never learn that you are not to be disturbed? I will not allow it. What is it? You know that my son is not well. I said that no one was to disturb his rest.
Madam, the Pope is dead. Lord Cesare commanded me to come to him if there was any news concerning the Pope's health.
I will convey the news. You may go.
Who is it? Who's there?
No one, Cesare. Only a servant. Within hours of the Pope's death, our enemies had taken to the streets. A howling mob, incited by the Orsini, ransacked our palaces, tearing down our statues and killing any man bearing the Borgia coat of arms. I prayed that they would not seek us out.
Lord! My lord! The Orsini are at the gates!
Yes, I will not lie here. I would rather die in the saddle than in bed.
Cesare, you are not well. I will get a sedan.
Get me my sword. Our only hope is to get to the Castel Sant'Angelo. That's where safety lies. Now, come on!
We ran through the streets. I could not keep up with Cesare. All around us, buildings were in flames. Rome had gone mad, looting and burning. Every church was stripped of every treasure, and wine ran in the gutters. I was almost ready to drop when we reached the Castel Sant'Angelo. We watched the sky turn red, and a thick pall of black smoke hung over the whole city. And we waited. After days, news came. Rovere had been elected Pope, Pope Julius II. Things could not have been worse. This man, above all others, was our enemy, sworn to destroy the Borgias.
Gentlemen, this is a copy of my letter to Cesare Borgia. Lord Cesare, I am glad to hear your health has improved. One can do nothing without good health. I am writing to assure you of our good favor. You are our beloved son, whom we love with a paternal love. I write to assure you of our continued goodwill in the matter of the lands in the Romagna. You therefore need have no fear, but a firm assurance that you may return to the Vatican and to those honors which can only be yours. I write this, gentleman, only to charm the viper into our hands. Once he leaves his castle, he will be powerless. I do not wish to see him dead, but he will be stripped of all his lands and titles. And when he is dead, in God's good time, there will be no more Borgias left in Rome to plague us.
Cesare did go to the Vatican, and it was not long before the Pope's true nature was shown.
Cesare, your castellans in the Romagna refuse to hand over their cities. One of my emissaries has been hanged. I will not tolerate this. I had your categorical assurance that all your castles in the Romagna would be handed over to me within a month.
Your Holiness, I have given my order. I cannot force my men to obey me. I am in Rome. If you were to send me to the Romagna, I could effect your will within a few days.
Oh, really? Do you suppose that I am such a fool? The moment you were let loose, I would have a war at my gates. No, Cesare, no. I will see you rot first. I have been far too generous with you. Now you are my prisoner, and now I will make that fact more explicit. You will lie in our deepest dungeon until your castles are surrendered to me. Take him away!
You cannot frighten me, Rovere. The more I'm in adversity, the more my spirit grows.
Cesare was not long in prison. He escaped and fled to Naples, and now he was a fugitive. He was imprisoned there, and again he escaped. Oh, the stories were legion, and the exploits legendary. I lived to hear how great my son's name became even in exile. The Neapolitans imprisoned him, and he escaped. He went to Spain, and there he was imprisoned, and again he escaped, this time from the highest tower in the fortress of Chinchilla, climbing down on knotted sheets. He sent Lucrezia letters.
My dearest and most beloved sister, I am free. I have escaped from every confinement. No tower can keep me in. I suffer only a few broken bones in climbing down walls as steep as ravines. I write to you from Navarre. Here they are fighting against the King of Spain, and I am to be given 5,000 troops to command. I shall win great victories, and then, my dearest sister, I shall return to Italy, and the Borgias shall return to glory. I salute you, Cesare.
He was never to return to Italy, my son, a son who outshone the sun. He continued to fight in Spain. In the autumn of 1504, there was a skirmish. He was in pursuit of the enemy. Alone he rode, hard on their heels, and alone he was led into a dark ravine. The enemy fell upon him and cut him down. The Navarrese found his body naked and bleeding in the dust. Oh, he was perfection. He died a martyr's death, the paragon of princes. I am old, and his memory comforts me. To think that I should have given birth to such a man.
Mother. Mother. Did Cesare murder my husband? Did he murder Alfonso?
No. No, Cesare was a paragon of princes.
Did he murder my brother? Did he murder Juan?
That is a lie. A lie! Cesare loved Juan. He loved you. Lucrezia, are you there? Cesare is dead. Do you know? He died gloriously. Did anyone tell you?
He was a murderer. Murderer.
No. 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 He was a god.